Folks, welcome in to sportsbookreview.com. It is Thursday, and it's time to talk some Major League Baseball. And if you blink, Joey Votto hit yet another home run. I think he has 75 already for just this week alone. But welcome into the show. We are the sportsbookreview.com Major League Baseball team. I'm Donnie Seymour, Jason Radowitz, along with Kyle Purviance. We are going to kick it off Major League Baseball in the afternoon the way we like it. Yeah. Before the show starts, the Phillies already took a loss on the day. Amazing that to Max Scherzer. Welcome in, Jason. How we feeling today? Mets struggling a little bit, though.
Yeah, the Mets are losing. It was a game that they kind of needed to win. The deadline's coming up, of course, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure, throughout the show. But, yeah, a lot of day games, a lot of lineups that really kind of look unusual, not very nice looking. The Cubs, obviously, no Rizzo, no Bryant in the lineup. Just saw that Rizzo might be in a trade with the Red Sox now. So that's kind of heating up. And, of course, these next 2 days are going to be a little bit rough when it comes to betting because there's going to be so many moving pieces. So be careful when you bet in these next 2 days. It's been a little bit rough for me this last week with all these rumors going on. So be careful, bet smart, and enjoy the NBA draft tonight instead of betting on baseball teams that aren't going to be at full strength.
Kyle and I both will be enjoying the NBA draft tonight. That is absolutely for sure. But if you guys have noticed on the right-hand side of the screen, it got a little bit deeper over there, an odds-boosted section. We're going to have some fun with you throughout the rest of Major League Baseball season. See if we can pick up some winners with some big odds in that for that purpose. Looking at the card today, Kyle. Now, hey, look, I know you already put out a best bet and banker. Can you go back and unretweet that or maybe knock it down? I don't know. What do you think, Kyle?
I wanted to. Well, I made the cardinal mistake, the big mistake that we tell people not to do right along these lines around the trade deadline. Wait for the lineups to come out. Well, my happy ass goes out there, tweets it out early like I know what's going on. And then the White Sox send out their AAA lineup today. So I put the bet in. I tweeted it out. We can't go back. So we need those White Sox AAA hitters to tee off of Carlos Hernandez today. It's not a good start, but there's still hope. There's still 4 more innings.
Yeah, and we'll still roll through all these games here. A lot of live games. Obviously, a game just ended. The Philadelphia Phillies lost 3-1 in the first part of a 7-inning doubleheader. Wheeler was decent. So was Max Scherzer, but Scherzer just a little bit better. And the Phillies, obviously, you're going to struggle hitting it. Anybody, it's probably going to be Max Scherzer. But let's take a look at some of these other games right now. And I think I'm watching live, or maybe – is that a home run there, all familiar? Yeah. So it looks like 6-3 now for Atlanta. So they're increasing their lead. Tampa Bay 4-0. How about Garrett Cole getting blasted in the first inning here? And also, as we talk about it, Jason, the Yankees get a little bit of boost. They got Joey Gallo yesterday. It doesn't really help them on the mound, but if you're going to lean on your ace in the hole, the Cy Young favorite in the AL, he gives up 4 right away in the first inning. Not a good look there for the Yankees today, Jason.
No, not at all. And yeah, Gallo, I'm kind of excited for the Yankees. He's going to be a big bat. They needed a lefty in their lineup. Despite the 212 average, he still has a lot of home runs. The strikeouts are lower than we've seen previously. The walks are higher. His weighted OBA is still high. So it's going to be a great addition for the Yankees. Can't get there soon enough because the reality is when pitcher has to face Judge, Stanton, and Gallo back to back to back, I mean, no matter how much they can be struggling at a time, that's a crazy lineup that they're going to have to face as the pitcher. So good for the Yankees getting Gallo. They did give up a lot, but it'll be what it'll be. Garrett Cole's got to pitch better. Obviously, kind of seems like he struggles in division, which is not good for the Yankees right now.
Yeah, Kyle, if we sort of relay it over, I know looking at the Yankees game yesterday, we often say at times, like, look, if you can't hit this pitcher, who are you going to hit? And then you come back today, you have Patino on the mound, who has a 5.98 xFIP over his last 30 days with a right to ISO power to right-handed bats at 250. And here we are again with the Yankees as I look up the screen. 5th inning, no runs. What an embarrassing performance out of the Yankees, at least today, yesterday, and quite frankly, Kyle, for the whole first half of the season right through to the All-Star break.
I completely agree. And we had our chance. They got those 2 runs in the top of the 10th. They had a runner on third, 1 out. And then, of course, Tampa Bay does this crazy, they put 11 people at the third baseline and, all the stupid shit they do in baseball now. And there you go, line out, double play, and the hope is over. But you're right, the Yankees are cans. I don't much care that they got Joey Gallo. Good. I mean, Joey Gallo, what does he do? He has 400 plate appearerances a year. He gets 37 hits. They're all home runs. He bats like .094. So there's just going to be a bunch more strikes.
He's also a Gold Glover.
Whatever. He's going to bat .094, and the Yankees are still going to suck. Yeah, I'm done with the Yankees. I agree with Vidalis in the chat. Absolutely done. If you're going to give up 9 Ks, you're going to strike out 9 times to Michael bleeping Waka. You're off my radar. It's going to be really hard for me to trust that lineup again the rest of the year.
Yeah, sometimes you learn a hard lesson down there. It's just one of those baseball. We joke about, Citi Field this year, which is sort of an anomaly. The Mets have done very well to play it over the past couple of years there. Seemingly, it's hard to hit. Obviously, today you got 6 runs here out of the Atlanta Braves. But down in Tropicana, I probably lost more money betting on teams in Tropicana than anywhere else because looks like they lay in the pitches. And sometimes they go 450 feet. Sometimes just like a lazy fly ball about 275 feet. Just an odd circumstance there down in the Dome where the ball certainly doesn't travel. From a Yankees perspective, there's still a lot of time here because I know Jason being a Mets fan, me being a Phillies fan, and even if anybody out there is a Yankees fan, there are some premium bats that are left out there that you might get an absolute steal on to flip a B-level prospect to get a really good hitter for the remainder of the year. We'll see if some of these teams actually try to add on because you had a nice move out there to Oakland, Starlin Marte. You had Joey Gallo over to the New York Yankees. And like Jason is right. I usually bag on Gallo quite a bit here. But there was no All-Star game last year. So theoretically, he made the back-to-back All-Star games, 2019, 2021, won the Gold Glove last year. And then you see the deal went down. He gave up a couple middling prospects. And then I saw also that Texas is paying full salary for Joey Gallo to go to New York. I mean,
this is New York, yeah.
It's just exactly. It's amazing. Like they got Joey Gallo literally for free. Here, take a Gold Glover All-Star guy that can hit home runs in that short right field porch over at Yankee Stadium. Amazing stuff. We'll see how it plays out. What, the Yankees 2.5 games back, I believe, of the last spot in the AL wild card. Again, I don't think they get there, but it's a nice move. If you keep Gallo on your team and you got him for free, absolutely free. Amazing stuff here. Rest of the games around Major League Baseball today, Cincinnati 2-0, as we said here live. Joey Votto, I mean, is he minus 160 to hit home runs now? Minus 200, it seems like. He is absolutely raking. Kansas City with an early lead 2-0 over the Chicago White Sox. And again, as we said, 6-3 New York Mets down to the Atlanta Braves. Tampa Bay Rays 4-0 over the limp New York Yankees, and the Phillies only lost game 1. By the way, game 2 for the Phillies is going to get underway at about 20 minutes here because we're looking for storms in the area, so they want to try to avoid and get in and out as fast as possible. But real quick before we do that, Max Scherzer on the mound today. Jason, I ask you first. Last game of the season for him as a Washington National?
Yeah, I think he will end up going to the West somewhere. I guess whoever gives up the best package. So, yeah, you can't really expect him to go deep or, really, pitch much in for the Nationals anymore. Look, how many innings did he go today?
Well,
I think he went 6 innings, didn't he?
Six
innings.
It's basically a fantasy draft now, right?
Yeah,
if you're out of the playoffs, it's like just come take any player you want, give us like $10,000 and buy us in and out for the rest of the year, and you can have the best player on the team.
That's interesting though, because if he went 6 innings, he could have got injured if they're, so I don't know if they would have pitched him 6 innings if they were going to get rid of him. So obviously something we'll have to look at, as the couple of days go by. But if they're going to be pitching him 6 innings, I'm not so sure that he will be traded. I thought, if he was going to pitch, maybe he'd go, 4 innings and that would be that. Showcase what they still got it and then be able to trade him off. But 6 innings is a little bit risky there. So we'll see what happens though. If he does go, he's going to the West, not going anywhere in the East.
I mean, they won a World Series championship a short while ago. But I have to tell you, if you're from an ownership standpoint and you need to move this guy, what is he pitching today for in a meaningless game for the Washington Nationals? And it's a showcase game. What, nobody's ever seen Max Scherzer pitch in Major League Baseball? Hey, you know what? I don't know if I want to make this move. Let me see him one more time here, guys. How about that, Kyle? Think it's his last game?
I guess. I don't. And the Nationals are weird too. They're the team that always hits their pitcher 8th, and they do a bunch of weird crap there. So they're just not really well run, and maybe it was just out of desperation. Most likely, he gets traded. And
they do have a lot of players on COVID, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. It's not going to be for anything special. It's Max Scherzer to the Mets for a lifetime supply of Nathan's hot dogs. I don't know what the hell it's going to be. It's going to be something stupid because that's how it feels. It feels like if you're out of the playoffs, all your players are available, and it doesn't matter what for. We'll pay the salary. Just make it. They just want to have a bunch of super teams at the top. You may as well just put all the players in the pool, do a fantasy draft with the top 15 teams in the league, and call it good because that's how it feels. But yeah, I would say Scherzer's probably done in Washington.
No, it makes sense. And also, you are right there, because baseball is that odd sport that has teams that operate who don't try to win, which is, imagine the NFL if you had a team that legitimately came out and said, we have a $200 million salary cap in the NFL, but we're only going to pay $25 million. But like, they would get kicked out of the NFL so fast and fined immediately. Case in point, what the Marlins do year after year, because the way Major League Baseball is set up, if you go over that luxury tax threshold, that money basically goes into a pot and pays the teams that don't pay anybody. So it is actually beneficial to the Marlins and teams like the Pittsburgh Pirates to stay at like 30 million, because their tax benefits, like Major League Baseball, your payroll's 30 million. Well, since you guys stink, we're going to give you 40 million. So it covers it. So you make money on being bad in Major League Baseball. It's absolutely astounding at that point. But as we talk a lot of money here, how about $20,000 up for grabs in Bitcoin throughout the rest of the summer here at sportsbookreview.com? If you see the tweets coming out weekly here, people are winning big prizes worth thousands of dollars. So if you need any help on this, you say, wait, what type of contest is it? How can I get down? Check out this video by Lee Martin explaining everything you need to know.
The free $20,000 MLB 10 runs for free cash contest is now live at SBRforum.com. What is the contest? It's simple. Each day in a designated SBR forum post, you pick one team that you think will score 10 or more runs that day. You qualify to win $100 that day if you are correct. Each day the game continues, you pick another team. And every time your team scores 10 runs, you'll be adding onto your total score. The contest is split into 3 segments, and at the end of each segment, the top scorers split $2,500. And at the conclusion of the contest, there's even more cash up for grabs, in total over $20,000. And I know what you're thinking. You can just pick the Yankees every day and win. No, you can only pick the same team once per week. Check out the link in the description for more info, and see you in the SBR forum for the contest.
Back.
Oh, yeah, look at that. See, you see this happened right there with a nice cold opening. That's me watching the YouTube feed going, hey, look, Lee Martin's still talking there. And then I look up on my actual live feed, and hey, there we are. So we might as well get back into business here and have some fun and kick it off. Thank you guys for joining us here on the show today. Once again, Thursday, Major League Baseball action, 87,200 subscribers here. Let's get that to 87,300. Hit that subscribe button, turn your notification bell on so we go live. You can come in here in the chat box and say, hey, look at the great plays that I've actually made here, as we're going to get into those games now. Dodgers and the Giants. Walker Buehler last night, as we're going to add odds boosted a little bit later. But how about the odds boost last night, which I was on? Walker Buehler to get a strikeout in the first inning, and it took to the third batter, but he got that one done. Nice little price here. I believe it was closed at plus 150. I would like to say maybe plus 130 last night, but plus money nevertheless. There's a good one in this game that I'm going to bring up a little bit later during that segment. But if we line up today, Price and Cueto on the mound, 957, 958. 3:45 start. So coming up roughly in 1 hour, 8.5s across the board. Slight favorite here to the Dodgers, depending on who you're shopping at, anywhere between 118 to minus 125. Nice bounce back win for the Dodgers yesterday. And if you had the under, one team got shut out and you still lost that under there with 8 runs scored by the Dodgers. Jason, started with you first today. To me, it's a cheap price here on the Dodgers. I think we're going to roll with them again against Cueto today.
Yeah, look, Cueto 0-4 for the Giants, pitching in July. 5 runs, 4 runs, 1 run, and then 3 runs. Allowed a home run every game and 2 in another. So this is a spot where the Dodgers, they can do some damage. I'm not sure if the lineup came out yet, but if it's Taylor, Muncy, Turner, and Pollock in there, there's some bats in there that can do well against righties. Now, Cueto, if you look at his stats in the last 30 days, not nearly as bad as the amount of runs he's allowed. 3.76 xFIP, striking out 27.6%, walking just 5.7%, but he is allowing a lot of runs and home runs in these games, going up against the Diamondbacks, the Cardinals, and the Pirates, 3 teams that really aren't that great offensively. So then you go to Price, and Price probably won't go very deep in the game, but he's also been pretty good. 3.86 xFIP, strikes out nearly 24% of batters. Also allowed just 4 runs in 14.2 innings pitched in July, so he's been the better pitcher. He's not going to go long, though, in the Dodgers bullpen. It's been up and down throughout the entire season. This is a hard one. I think the Dodgers are the better team. I think they are at that price, I think they're the better team. And I would even think that they can get over on the team total, especially in the first 5 innings. I think the Dodgers offense does profile pretty well against Cueto here.
Yeah, this will be an interesting one. If you take a look at just the last 30 days, both of these pitchers actually been really good. Take a look at Johnny Cueto, 3.76 xFIP number. David Price, 3.86. And take a look at David Price here. Between lefty, obviously he's a lefty pitcher, lefties and righties, 290 weighted on base average of lefties with a 0.0 ISO power number to righties, 298 with an ISO power number of 216, which is a little bit elevated here. So both of these pitchers coming in form. I just trust the Dodgers a little bit more here with their full pitching staff versus that full pitching staff, meaning Cueto on the mound again. Maybe a little bit of a wake-up call last night, getting 8 runs. I think they could score a little bit off Cueto today. That's the way I'm leaning. Kyle, your thoughts here between the Dodgers and the Giants?
Yeah, it's a little hard for me to back either of these pitchers, really. Both lineups have absolutely smashed the other. I mean, neither one of these guys have done very good. Back in May, Price had 5 strikeouts. It's his highest strikeout game of the year. I actually took the under 4.5 strikeouts for Price today. I don't think he gets the 5 again today because I just don't think he goes long enough. And then Cueto, I mean, -3, 12, 10, 20. Those are his fantasy totals against the Dodgers. He's looked pretty mediocre as well. For me, I think that overall total of the game, 8.5, I think is a little bit low. I could see both teams getting runs today. I do think the Dodgers profile just slightly better. We got a 749 weighted 3-year OPS as opposed to a 913 for Cueto. I will lean the Dodgers here. The bet I like the best in this game, if I were to make one, would take the over 8.5. I think both pitchers can be had against the opposing lineup today.
All right, see what happens here. I got a couple of things in the chat box. Let Dan says, does anybody think the Mets will bounce back? What, tomorrow? I mean, I don't know. They're down, unless it's meaning they're going to come back from a 3-run deficit here in the 9th inning. Not too sure on that one. But a good game here between the Dodgers and the San Francisco Giants. We'll see what actually happens next at this point. Let's take a look here and get to the next game on the card, Toronto and Boston. Ryu and Rodriguez, 2 lefties on the mound tonight up in Boston. If we take a look at the numbers, roughly a pick 'em here. -114 offshore at Pinnacle. If we take a look here in New Jersey, -126 at FanDuel, a little bit higher. But the one thing that has risen here, Jason, the total in this game opened up at 10 offshore, opened up at 10 here in New Jersey at FanDuel, now sitting at 10.5 across the board. If I'm looking player per player here, I think Ryu can have a bounce back start in this situation, but also I like the Toronto bats, the way they profile going up against Eduardo Rodriguez. Slight lean for me for Toronto, taking the little bit of a plus money number here, Jason. Your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, just looking at career numbers, Boston does have the better lineup going up against Ryu with a 706 OPS in total, then 649 OPS going up against Eduardo Rodriguez for the Blue Jays. But yeah, you look at this lineup, of course, the Blue Jays offense always looks really good against lefties. Now, Eduardo Rodriguez, he's actually also looks pretty good. 3.36 xFIP, striking out 28% of batters, walking under 7% of batters. He struggled against lefties, not against righties. His ISO in his last 54 play appearances against righties is what everyone likes to hear, 0.00 for Rodriguez. I mean, that's really good. And he'll be facing an entire lineup of all righties. So it really does look good for Rodriguez there against Toronto. And, of course, Ryu, he's been really bad against lefties and really actually been pretty solid against righties, which is a little bit weird. And there won't be too many lefties in the lineup for the Red Sox in the first place as well. So you have, maybe Verdugo, Duran, and I don't know if Devers will be in the lineup or not, but I mean, so there you go. This is just a lot of righties in the lineup going up against lefties, where both pitchers are pitching better as lefties against righties. So really, really, really weird game, and that's why I'm not touching this one. It can go either way, honestly.
No, you're certainly right on that, because I do like the pitching matchup here per se, but I do think the Toronto bats can get out a little bit. Also, Jason, real quick on that one, because the reason why I'm looking at maybe a possible decent look from Toronto, any thoughts given that Eduardo Rodriguez left after basically 1 inning in his last start? Was it a migraine? I don't really know if he's even like an arm strength here. Does that give you any pause in this, or you just think he's going to be okay today?
Yeah, look, if he's able to pitch and they're putting him out there, I think he'll be ready and prepared. Yeah. He's been through a lot throughout his career, so I don't think this will be an issue. But, at the end of the day, this is a guy that he does have moments where he really struggles and doesn't pitch well. And if he's a little bit rusty, he comes out there and pitches poorly, then it could be a really long day for him. I mean, at the end of the day, a 5.23 ERA is not going to get the job done for Rodriguez. So.
Now, and also, Jason, we always this little Slack chat in the back. Looks like a big trade going down in Chicago, and it turns out to be Ryan Tepera. I mean, now the part about this, I know Jason being a Mets fan, you see that and you're like, oh, here we go, Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo going to switch, drive across town from the south side to the north side. But Ryan Tepera, a little bit of, heat out there for Jeff Passan saying, hey, look at this. We're going to have a huge trade here. Not the biggest trade we were looking for. So we're going to keep an eye on over the next 24 hours. It should be fun. But we thought we might be getting a big deal, and it turned out to be, it is what it is. Take a look at this game between Toronto and Boston today. Kyle, what are your thoughts there?
Oh, it's so tough. I agree. I mean, I wouldn't touch this game with a 10-foot pole. Now, I will say this. Ryu and Rodriguez, they've been smashed by the opposing lineup, and they've also pitched really well. Ryu was awesome his last time out against Boston, putting up 52 fantasy points. Rodriguez not so good in his last one, but the two before combined 75. So there is a path where runs are scored, and there's also a path where they're not. I look at that 5.5 as the total in the first 5 innings. If both pitchers are on and able to, get through the top of the order in that first inning, maybe they can get that under 5.5. It's at -115 if you want to do that in the first 5 innings. Again, you're taking the game theory that both pitchers would pitch well and not get lit up. If one lineup was going to expose the other pitcher, I would favor Toronto's. As Donnie said, I do have a slight lean to Toronto there, and the slightest of leans to under 5.5 in the first 5 innings. But other than that, I don't want to touch this. Righties in that lineup for Toronto are in play in DFS, of course. The Guerreros, your Bichette's, who's been very good off Rodriguez, Springer, etc. But for the most part, I would stay away from this. Maybe lean the under in the first 5 innings.
All right, next game we'll talk about. Thought we went ahead a decent one to break down, but not much here coming from the Angels' perspective on who the starting pitcher is going to be confirmed. Oakland with Montas on the mound. So we'll keep it short here, Jason. Any thoughts here between Oakland and the Angels other than Shohei Ohtani going deep once again tonight?
Yeah, look, Ohtani and then you have Stassi and Mayfield are the only guys that have been consistent in the lineup against righties for the Angels there. Ohtani's a home run threat, as Cal always likes to point out. But outside that, Montez has been really good, striking out 30.3% of batters. Righties and lefties both struggling, not finding much power. Weighted OBA is kind of low. And to lefties, he's striking out a ton of batters. So you got Marsh and Eaton are the only lefties. So maybe less on the strikeouts there for Montez. But at the end of the day, not much in that lineup to like. And again, we don't know who's going to be pitching for the Angels. But if it's going to be a righty, same thing goes for them. I mean, Marte could be in the lineup. We don't really know yet. Probably ends up batting the top 3 in the lineup. He's been good against righties if he faces a righty. Canada's been good against righties. Lowry and Moreland also good against righties. So I would say the Athletics probably have a better lineup. But if it's Alex Cobb out there, I wouldn't bother. If it's somebody else out there, I would bother. Being in Los Angeles where you can't hit some home runs. So it depends on the pitcher, obviously. But again, we don't know that pitcher yet, so we're going to just wait on that.
Yeah, waiting on food for thought here out of the Angels, because I would like to get a piece of the Angels team totals once they get Trout and Rendon back. Should be a decent little lineup, at least 1 through 5 or 1 through 6, with Upton and maybe Walsh staying healthy there. Kyle, any early thoughts here? Again, we don't have a confirmed starting pitcher for the Angels here, but maybe you can pick off something or any thoughts on this game. What do you got?
Well, I'm seeing a lot of reports that it's Dylan Bundy, that he's going to fill in for Cobb, who's got the blisters issue. So I'm proceeding as though Bundy is going to be starting. They even have him listed now on ESPN. They have him listed earlier on the DraftKings Sportsbook as well. I'm not finding it on any other book. So again, it's not 100% certain. I would keep an eye on it. But if it is indeed Dylan Bundy, I would be jumping all over those A's first 5s. I'd be jumping all over those A's team totals. Dylan Bundy is absolutely terrible, and the A's have been very, very good against him. So again, if he is the starter, I like Oakland and DFS. Stack those hitters. Assuming it's Bundy, you haven't found anything right now. And look, the Angels have been fairly solid against Montas as well. If it's Bundy, huge advantage for Montas and the A's. So again, and that's what I think too. I think it's Bundy from what I've seen. I'm not seeing the numbers on the first 5 or a team total yet. Wait for those numbers to come out, verify it's Bundy, and then jump on the A's.
Yeah, that should be an interesting one to check out. And also keep in mind, Starlin Marte probably going to make his debut for the Oakland Athletics today, so something to watch as well. Let's get to our value menu wagers on the card today. Yesterday, I drew dead here, but that's why they're value menu wagers. Hey, lose some, win some, see if you can win more than you lose is the name of the game. Yesterday's the Pittsburgh Pirates led off the game with back-to-back singles. I'm like, I'm going to get this bad boy in the first inning, and then they can't do jack the rest of the game, but that's why they are the Pittsburgh Pirates. So today I'm going to come back on a team total here with a team that scored 17 runs yesterday without a home run. Think about that. 17 17 runs in a major league game without a home run. That was the Detroit Tigers. Now, the reason being I can't upgrade this to a premium play or I can't upgrade this bad boy to a banker is because the price is a little bit too high. If we take a look at the FanDuel Sportsbook, it's sitting at 5 at -114, which is a doable number here for the Tigers versus a gas can on the mound for the Orioles in decent hitting conditions. But the reason being not so much where they scored a lot yesterday, so they're due for maybe 2 runs today. It's just that you need 6 runs to cash this ticket. But Donnie, they scored 17 yesterday. I understand that. But we all know as gamblers here, particularly team total guys in Major League Baseball, that threshold of 4, 3.5s, 4s, and 4.5s, okay, let me get 5 runs for the victory. Once you get over that 5 number, you're looking for an explosion in Major League Baseball. 6 or more runs is a lot to get regardless of who you're going up against. So I have a little bit of money down tonight on the Detroit Tigers team total over 5. I think they should do it. Stacking right-handed batters against this tomato can on the mound. They should get to their 5-spot number tonight. I believe it. That's why I bet a little bit on it, not a lot. Jason, what are you taking a look at here on your value menu card?
Yeah, I'm on the same spot as you. Tigers over 2.5 in the first 5 in the team total. That will be my play instead of going the full game. But, of course, the Orioles bullpen is so bad that they can clearly get above what Donnie needs as well. But you look at this lineup for the Tigers, and they got a 370 weighted OBA against lefties in the last 30 days. Of course, Wells hasn't pitched all that much throughout the season, but when he has 5.02 xFIP, walking 10.5% of batters, his ground ball rate 23.1%, hard contact 46.2%, and the worst thing of it all, 19 plate appearances against righties, 450 weighted OBA, an ISO of 375, striking out just 10.5% of batters, walking 15.8% of the batters. Okay, well, now you look at the Tigers lineup, it's going to be all righties outside of potentially Badu, who will be a lefty in the lineup. So that's 8 guys that are going to be batting from the right-hand side against Wells, who's been terrible since being in the majors. I think he's thrown in 3 games and had a big strikeout game in his last outing, but before that, didn't get a strikeout. So, or I think he had 1 strikeout in 4 2/3 innings. So I don't think he's a big strikeout guy in the first place. It was just a game against the Rays where the Rays strike out a ton in the first place. And the Tigers, this lineup only striking out 19.4% of the time in the last 30 days. So not striking out nearly as much as they used to back in April when we were fading them left and right because they struck out so often. So I do like the Tigers here. I think they'll score 3 runs in the first 5. I think they'll go off again offensively, but again, it's hard when it comes down to betting the Tigers to score runs, although they've been a lot better this month.
No, you're exactly correct here. Take a look here, Kyle. Value menu wagers. Where's that value out on your card tonight, Kyle?
Well, I've gone back and forth. I was going to maybe go the under 4.5 in the first 5 innings for the Brewers and Pirates, but I'm starting to lean more and more to the Padres -0.5 in the first 5 at -160. Number one, it's the Rockies on the road. The Rockies stink on the road. They can't beat anybody on the road, and I don't see that happening tonight. I actually like how Musgrove profiles against this lineup. One of the lowest weighted 3-year OPS is at 654. Of course, on the other side, you have Kyle Freeland, who has been better on occasion lately. 3 of his last 4 starts against the Padres, single-digit fantasy totals. The lineup profiles beautifully. I like the Padres in DFS. I like the Padres at home. I like them -0.5 in the first 5. The reason it's not a best bet, it's at -160. So just throw a little bit on that and enjoy a free Wendy's meal tonight. Padres -0.5 in the first 5, -160 value play of the day.
There you go. Moving on here. How about this? Let's get to our new little segment here called Odds Boosted, and a creative little, look at this little thing. There we go, flying to the moon and, shooting up there. Great job by the graphics department here at sportsbookreview.com to ingrate this in here today. I'll go first. I like a game. I bet it already at the FanDuel Sportsbook. I'm going to go with my odds boost today, and that deals with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Seems decent here. If you like the Dodgers to win the game, right? Then David Price is probably going to pitch decent baseball over the first couple innings here, which means he's probably going to record a few strikeouts. Over his last 5 appearances for the Dodgers, he struck out at least 3 batters. So today's odds boost I'm rolling with here, David Price to record 3 or more strikeouts and the Dodgers to get a win. Boosted from +130 to +200. So if you just said, okay, I don't really trust that too much, but I do think the Dodgers are going to win the game, well, you're actually laying a -125 here on the Dodgers. If you think the Dodgers are going to win, that means Price pitches well, which he probably gets 3 strikeouts, correlates right over to a +200. I'm on that for my odds boost today. Nice little price of 2-1. Jason, odds boosted today. Where are we going?
Yes, I'm looking at William Hill. The Tigers at -3.5 in the full game, -3.5 on the spread. It's boosted from 225 to now plus 300 on William Hill. So I just talked about how I like the Tigers to be able to score 2.5 runs in the first 5 innings. On the other hand, you do have Casey Mize on the mound for the Tigers going against Baltimore. He should have a solid outing, as the Mets thought we had one in the gap there. But if you look at Mize, he's been really good this year for the most part. Had a struggle early on in April, but he's been a lot better. So if he's able to go 6 innings, then you only need to worry about the bullpen for a couple more. And the Tigers, like Donnie and I project, we think they're going to be able to score runs. So can they win by 4 runs or more in this game? Yeah, it's definitely possible with Mize on the mound. So seeing that boost from 225 to plus 300, I think that's a go for the Tigers on William Hill.
Odds boosted here, Kyle. Give me some boost to the moon. What are we looking at today? Where are you going with?
Yeah, over at the DraftKings Sportsbook, we just talked about the Padres and the Rockies. And look, I see some comments in there, Padres suck, there's value on the Rockies. Okay, well, the Padres have the 5th best run differential in all of baseball. They're 14 games over 500 at home. The Colorado Rockies are 27 games under 500 on the road. They're the worst road team in baseball. One of the worst first 5 innings teams in baseball. So I don't know what numbers you're using to say the Rockies are going to win. Maybe it's a gut feeling, that's fine, but it's certainly not based on the numbers or anything that's happening out here in the real world. So my odds boost today boosted from 245 to 300. Padres to win and Fernando Tatis to get at least 2 hits in his career off Kyle Freeland, 5 of 15 lifetime, 1 home run, 2 doubles, a 333 average. Look, these things are boosted for a reason. It means they're less likely to happen than to happen. A guy like Tatis, once Freeland's gone, we're also getting one of the worst bullpens in baseball on the Rockies. 2 hits, certainly feasible for one of the best hitters in baseball. And, of course, I like the Padres to beat the Rockies at home tonight as well. So 2 things that I think are very, very possible to happen. 2 hits for Tatis and Padres to win, boosted from 245 to 300.
There you go. Nice little segment here. Way to kick it off, guys. Here, see if we can cash in some of these tickets. They will be fun to watch. And the good part about it here, a little afternoon baseball here for the Dodgers if you're looking to roll with me on my odds boost here with David Price in the afternoon. Let's slide it down to get the best bets on the Major League Baseball board. Now, look, I'm 31-13 on the season in my best bets and bankers. The reason being is because I'm picking and choosing some pretty good spots. Today, coming up just short is that Tigers number. But keep in mind, see what happened with Kyle today in the afternoon. Like, we're trying to put plays out and see if we can give some stuff, but not only do you get sometimes those afternoon games, you don't get the best lineups, but now double down on this one. The trade deadline's coming up, guys. Right. You're looking at the games tonight here. You could have 2 and 3 guys moving. Hey, look, I really like this lineup. And 2 of those players disappear and another guy gets a night off. You say, no, wait a second. 3 of the guys who I really like tonight aren't even playing. Case in point as well, tomorrow is the deadline. The same thing is going to take place. Not to say tomorrow I'm not going to have a play of the day or it's like, oh, I'm just not going to fire. But it has to make a lot of sense because you see games tomorrow. I mean, Harvard versus Scooble's on the mound tomorrow. So immediately we're going to be tuned into that game going, now, wait a second here. We're going to try to find some lineups. But there's a lot of undecided pitchers tomorrow. And also keep in mind, you're going for a pitcher or a guy you think is a tomato can. He gets scrubbed and knocked out of the game. And it completely changes because nowadays, most sports books, hey, doesn't matter who your pitcher is. If you bet the game, you're stuck with those odds. And that's what you keep it on. So just be careful if you're laying the wood tonight and tomorrow with the trade deadline. That's all I'm saying here tonight. I don't have a best bet and banker today. Jason, do you have one that you're looking at tonight?
Yeah, no, this is one of the first times all season I haven't given out a bet. And, I write articles every single day. I give out plays every single day, and that's my job. So I'm always going to give out plays no matter what. And, my record might not be as good as Donnie because I'm throwing out plays every day, but that's what comes with the territory of the job. So, but yeah, not today. I don't have an official play. I tried to give out an NBA draft play via Twitter and then gave out that play, of course, and then MGM, FanDuel, and all the other sports books took it down. So tried to give you guys a winner, and that bet is going to win, but now you can't get it anymore. So that's what happens when you're in this business. But it is what it is, and we'll be back next week, and we'll fire on some more plays.
Yeah, and again, I'm not turning off the lights on because Friday usually is payday for us, and we have some fun with those plays. There are a lot of good looks tomorrow, but sometimes just being a little bit careful on who we're actually firing and getting after. Now, keep in mind, if you're looking to bet a really good baseball team tomorrow, meaning that they're going to be in the hunt and adding on, that's not going to hurt you because they're probably not trading away a good player in the lineup. But sometimes, as we like to say here, Kyle, as we get after some of these dog teams that, hey, why are we looking at this team? Because they stink. Well, they're the teams that are trading everybody away at that point. Any best bets and bankers on the card for you today here, Kyle?
Well, I mean, I did tweet out the one and obviously didn't wait for the lineup. And
Just
that's a
delete
mistake
it.
by
Just
me.
delete
It's a mistake you just don't want to make. You do need to wait for the lineups to come out. And, I broke my own rule, and that's what happens. And looks like the Royals are probably going to score some more runs here and really kick the White Sox ass here in the first 5. So that's dead. I would say this. If I was going to best bet something tonight, I would wait for the lines to come out on the A's and make sure it is Dylan Bundy on the mound. If it is indeed Dylan Bundy on the mound, I would love the A's in the first 5 innings. I think Montas is exponentially better, and the A's have lit up Bundy. There's no number on that right now that I can find, but if the A's are indeed facing Bundy, I'll take the A's minus 0.5 in the first 5, whatever number that is.
All right, so now I'm going to have to say a little piece here. We're going to get to the odds lightning round right now and hit the rest of Major League Baseball. But a game just got underway, the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, let me understand from an ownership's perspective in a front office and from a manager that sometimes they're completely derelicts, and that's the Phillies here. Max Scherzer, one of the single best pitchers in baseball. So if you're the Phillies, yes, let's line up our ace against their ace, which we know if we get more than one run is an absolute miracle. The Phillies lose 3-1 in the first game. So then they go to their full bullpen game against Tomato Can, basically versus Tomato Can for the Nationals here. The Phillies quote unquote reliever comes into the game, and I'm watching it right now again. Ball off the top of the fence. So at least 4-0 here with 1 out in the first inning. Would it have made more sense to get beat 7-0 in the first game or so when you throw your bullpen against Scherzer because you're not beating them anyway, and then throw Zach Wheeler in the second game so you have a chance to beat a Tomato Can? No, the only goal in Major League Baseball in a doubleheader is not to sweep it. It's not to get swept in that. 1-1 in a doubleheader is exactly what you hope for from each and every Major League Baseball team. The Phillies are going to get swept up by the COVID Nationals today. Just think about that. Let's get to the odds lightning round here as the Phillies getting rocked in the first inning of the second game of the doubleheader. Yeah, exactly. Just saw a ball go right off the top of the fence there. Magic. Great stuff here. Milwaukee and Pittsburgh, Peralta and Cool on the mound today. 181-195 as a favorite, depending on your shopping around for the Milwaukee Brewers in this game. Obviously getting a little bit of help. Escobar, I don't think he's in the lineup today or anticipated to be in the lineup, but he could be. Pittsburgh is just flailing around at this point right now. It's a heavy price for Milwaukee, but do you see Pittsburgh Pirates winning this game at all, Jason?
Well, it's funny because yesterday I agreed with you. I thought the Pirates, they looked good. On paper, they looked really good, and they should have scored some runs. Now, Peralta, yeah, he's an all-star pitcher, and he's had a great season, a lot of strikeouts, but in the last 30 days, a 5.44 xFIP, he's walking 15% of batters. Now, if the Pirates can just stay patient, get on base, all they need is a couple of clutch hits to get the job done and score some runs. So, again, if you look at the Pirates, their lineup, 261 ISO, weighted OBA 350. They're striking out under 21% of the time, and they're walking 8.4% of the time. They kind of look good in this spot, but you just can't trust them. And you've got the Brewers, their lineup looks really good too, with their weighted OBA sitting at 349, ISO of 199. I think we see some runs in this game from both sides. Honestly, I like the over.
By the way, you take a look at Milwaukee. I mean, the reason why they're good, they have 3 pitchers in the top 10 in ERA in the major league. I mean, that is outrageous. Like, you're just running dominant player after dominant player up there. Gives you a chance to win each and every night. Let's keep moving down the list here. Baltimore and Detroit. One of the games that I'm looking at here to get over that 5-run number for the Detroit Tigers. Wells, the lefty on the mound. And how about this, Detroit? Now, we look at this number, Kyle. It's still Detroit. They stink. Right? Baltimore, they stink. But you're going to lay a minus 155 or minus 160 with Casey Mize on the mound. Tens across the board. I do think we get some runs in this game. But, hey, man, that's a heavy price for Detroit here.
Yeah, no thank you. That's a hard no thank. Not today, Satan. You're not doing that to me. That's just not going to happen. But I will say I do think there's going to be runs scored in this game. I think both lineups are sneaky in DFS. They're usually lower priced if you want to do a cheaper stack and pay up for your pitchers, etc. I think it's a nice way to go. Kind of like the over in this game. These are 2 really bad pitchers. I mean, Wells, absolutely just terrible. Casey Mize, I don't know why he's on any. If he wasn't on the Tigers, he wouldn't be in any rotation. He's absolutely dreadful. So get ready for that no-hitter tonight from Casey Mize, right? Get ready for the no-hitter. But I do think runs will be here. Sneaky DFS options for both teams. I would lean the over 10 runs. I see a lot of runs being scored in this game. Keep an eye on the weather, too. This is one of the games with some weather issues in it. So maybe they don't even let us play, and that could change the DFS perspective. If it's just going to be a light rain and a delay, that's fine. Bring in those crappy bullpens who are probably even worse than these 2 starting pitchers. Should be runs. I like it tonight. I'll take the over 10 as a lean. Nothing official on that, and I like both teams to stack in DFS.
most eyeballs in Detroit tonight, probably not on the baseball field, but on the NBA draft where the Pistons have the number 1 overall pick. Suppose certainly going to be Cade Cunningham in that instance. But yes, how about this one? Tampa Bay, 10. New York Yankees, nothing. Way to show the front office. Say, hey, guys, thanks for giving us a boost in Joey Gallo. He's not here yet, but we're going to have our ace on the mound today and get pasted 10-0 by a division rival. So some interesting stuff. Yeah,
Patino.
Look at it. But it's like, forget about
it should
the
be
10
the other way
is
around.
astounding.
Like,
yes.
It's nuts.
The 10 is astounding that they give it up because Garrett Cole is on the mound. But the simple fact that the Yankees are drawing dead again against some slop pitching, are they just going to wake up? I don't know. But that's why I don't think they're actually going to make the playoffs, and we'll see what happens in New York. Last game we'll talk about today, Colorado and San Diego. Freeland, the lefty, on the mound versus Musgrove, Kyle. And I know you're going with an odds boost here of Tatis Jr. to get 2 hits and a Padres win. The only question, it's a nice way to look at it because check this out. If you say, look, well, I'm not even going to mess with Tatis. I just think San Diego's going to win. Were you laying $3 roughly as a price, like $300 to win 100? If you think they're going to win, which means they're probably going to score 4, 5, or 6 runs, all you need is one of these games, Kyle, where Tatis gets a single in the first inning, and often running you are. You're like, I got 4 more at-bats at least for Tatis to get 1 more hit. And it's not a minus 300, a minus 200, a plus 100. It's a plus 300 number here. That's pretty decent here.
Exactly. And if you're taking a side, the best value you're going to get is you assume the Padres will come out and score some runs early off Freeland as they've done in the past. Minus 0.5 in the first 5s at minus 160. I like the Padres and DFS as well. I actually don't even mind throwing in Musgrove, who's pretty cheap on DraftKings at 8,200 and 8,400 on FanDuel. In his last 2 starts against Colorado, 64 and 38 fantasy points. That will get the job done at that price. Padres are the play here. Love that odds boost. Tatis 2 hits, 5 of 15 lifetime off of Freeland. It's certainly something Tatis is capable of doing. And of course, we're talking about one of the worst road teams you'll ever see in any sport. The Rockies on the road this year against one of the better home teams, especially in the National League. I like the Padres in this one. Find the value, take the team total, take that odds boost with Tatis, take a minus 0.5 in the first 5, get creative and get away from that 300 number. But it's Padres or bust for me tonight.
Yeah, fun stuff here. Added in a nice little segment. I think it's going to work out well for us. But before we get out of here, we always like to clear the base and let you guys know what we're digging on tonight. I'm going to go first. Value menu wager play tonight. I went with the FanDuel Sportsbook, and that is a Detroit team total over 5 at minus 114. Needs 6 to cash. I think they can approach that number here. I think we get a pretty good environment. As Kyle said, there is a little bit of weather concerns there, but the wind's still blowing out. It's warm. Even if there's some showers here, I mean, what's the worst thing can happen? These pitchers get knocked out of the game, and they go to their nasty bullpens at this time. So I don't think we'll have any issues with that. And also, my odds boosted play tonight, David Price coming up in just a little bit here to get 3 strikeouts or more in a Dodgers win. That's plus 200. Hopefully we can come away with some money here tonight. Jason, let's take a look here on your odds boost, your value menu wager, and if you do add in, or if you did add in the last 30 seconds here, a banker play. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the value play, Tigers over 2.5 in the first 5 team total. That's via DraftKings. And then, of course, I still like the Tigers on that odds boost on William Hill. You're going to get them at minus 3.5 or for them to win by 4 or more runs. It went from plus 225 to now plus 300 on William Hill. So there's a lot of value there. And if we think the Tigers are going to score with Casey Mize on the mound, I think there's a good chance to hits.
Yeah, it should be. And by the way, guys in the chat box here, have fun with this odds boost stuff. Come in tomorrow, say, hey, man, I already scoped this out. What do you think about these odds boosts? We're going to have fun with these all the way through the rest of Major League Baseball season, and even probably, doing some NFL shows here. I'm sure they're going to have massive odds boosts on Sundays and Monday night games and Thursday night games. So this is going to be something we can stick with all across the sportsbookery.com channels and shows and have a lot of fun with those. Kyle, wrap it up here. Clear the bases. What you got? All 3 levels here.
Well, we're going to go on the value menu, that Padres minus 0.5 in the first 5 at minus 160. It's not official because I don't have a number on it, but I will take the Braves in the first 5 innings as well over Bundy, whatever that number ends up being. Bundy is absolutely terrible. Yes. Prop of the day, I took David Price under 4.5 strikeouts, a number he's only hit once this year, all the way back in May. Of course, it was against the Giants, who do tend to strike out a lot, but I don't think Price gets all those strikeouts tonight. Giants should come in motivated after an embarrassing performance last night. Price, not the highest strikeout guy. I'm hoping 4 or 5 innings, maybe. I'm hoping Donnie gets that 3 strikeouts that he needs, but not 5. So I like Price under 4.5 strikeouts, minus 114. Some home run props. You always got to have Ohtani on your home run list. 6 of 16 lifetime, 2 home runs off of Montas. And a guy like Matt Olson in that A's game, 2 home runs in his career off Dylan Bundy. If indeed it is Bundy, make sure you verify that. But a guy like Matt Olson for a home run prop makes some sense as well. And I don't even mind Fernando Tatis, who I like for 2 hits tonight as well.
By the way, G-Man Choi goes yard 12-0. Maybe the Yankees were selling Joey Gallo off today since they got him for free from the Texas Rangers as saying, like, we ain't got no shot. We have no heart on this baseball team. So that game is 12-0 here in the 6th inning. Thank you guys for tuning into a Thursday episode here of the Major League Baseball Show right here at sportsbookreview.com. Tomorrow is Friday. You know what that is. Friday is payday. Just be careful out there. The trade line deadline is approaching. Maybe get some boost to baseball teams. Maybe get some teams raising the white flag tonight. Should be interesting to see. I'm Donnie Seymour for Jason Radowitz and Kyle Purviance. Thanks once again for tuning into the show today. And as always, good luck on those wagers.